Andrew Cuomo just got crushed by a 33-year-old socialist who wants to abolish the police, not by a few votes, by 70,000. Zohran Mamdani didn't just win, he demolished the establishment Democrat by running on a platform that reads like the Communist Manifesto. Government grocery stores, $40 minimum wage, abolish prisons, free everything, paid for by $70 billion in new debt, healthcare, education, a new home, soda pop and Twinkies and everything. Like everything is free. Like we haven't heard this line before. Okay, the New York Post called it a political earthquake, but that's understating it. This is a tsunami that's about to drown America's biggest city in red ink and radical ideology. Even worse, not unexpected, AOC and Bernie Sanders are calling this their blueprint for 2028. What happens in NYC never stays in NYC. Keep watching. Now, while New York's socialist mayor promises free everything, your body's collagen is vanishing faster than businesses fleeing Manhattan, which, trust me, they are fleeing. Just like NYC residents escape to Florida for freedom, your collagen escapes daily. 1% yearly after 40. That's why I recommend ageless multi-collagen. 5 types from 4 clean sources, hydrologized for absorption. No socialist policies needed, just real results. Unlike Mondavi's $70 billion debt promises, these deliver firmer skin, stronger joints, and healthier hair. No GMOs, no artificial ingredients, no government promises. Every order feeds hungry children through nokidhungry.org. Actual help, not communist fairy tales. Get 51% off by visiting healthwithgary.com. That is healthwithgary.com. Go now before your collagen flees like NYC's taxpayers. Your skin and confidence will thank you. 70,000 votes. That's how badly New York's Democrats just lurched left. Mamdani didn't even edge out Cuomo. It wasn't even a close call. He obliterated him. Watch this victory speech and witness the socialist takeover of America's most largest and most successful city.
Now, the 33-year-old state assemblyman held a commanding lead over the 3-term ex-governor all night long. Cuomo conceded in Tuesday's primary after trailing by roughly 70,000 votes. The New York Post asking for a lifeline on today's cover, calling Mamdani's victory a, quote, political earthquake, not just for the city, but for the entire state of the Democratic Party. And this might be why. Here are just some of his plans for New York City. Watch.
And our police force should not be assisting ICE.
Defund the NYPD and refund all of these different social services.
I will create a network of city-owned grocery stores. It's like a public option for produce.
I'll freeze the rent for millions of tenants, make buses fast and free, and deliver universal childcare. And before you ask, I'll pay for it by taxing the rich.
The mayor will use their power to reject Donald Trump's fascism.
All right, they want to freeze rent, free buses, universal childcare, tax the rich to death until they're no longer rich. Of course, that's what they don't want you to have more money. They just want the rich people to have less money. This is not about liking you. This is about hating them. You know, Venezuela called and they want their playbook back. The political establishment sees the writing on the wall. AOC is already measuring drapes for 2028. We cannot let that happen, by the way. Listen to CNN's analyst of what this means for the radical left's national ambitions. Let's check it out.
Mamdani was endorsed by key progressives like Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. AOC pushed for voters to choose his ultra-liberal policies. And now that her endorsement helped lock in his likely nomination, it may signal a path for AOC with voters in 2028. Political commentator Chris Sliwa put it this way.
If I'm Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who, as I mentioned, endorsed Mamdani, and I see this result, I am thinking this is terrific for me. It shows that there's energy in the liberal activist base of the party. It shows that the establishment is crumbling, right? All these politicians who are not AOC, other than Bernie Sanders, are in some way, shape, or form part of the establishment, right? Josh Shapiro or Gretchen Whitmer or Gavin Newsom. All these people have spent years in elected office. If I'm looking at this, I am thinking this bodes very well for me. It suggests that mad as hell Democratic voters are not going to just default back to a Joe Biden-like figure in 2028.
Mad as hell Democratic voters. It's kind of funny. I mean, they're always mad as hell about anything, nothing, everything, nothing. But that's their base now. Angry socialists who think that money grows on trees. They don't understand how value is transferred from one person to another. Mamdani, Yabba Dabba Doo, went on MSNBC to spread this gospel of government control. Watch him admit that he thinks socialism will work everywhere in America, as if it hasn't been tried before. Check it out.
You're running on issues that are very relevant to people in New York City, the cost of housing, free busing. Some have projected, that this is the type of platform that would work in other parts of the country. I mean, you're a proud democratic socialist. Do you think that is a platform that would work for other candidates running in other parts of the country?
Absolutely. I think ultimately this is a campaign about inequality. And you don't have to live in the most expensive city in the country to have experienced that inequality, because it's a national issue. And what Americans coast to coast are looking for are people who will fight for them, not just believe in the things that resonate with their lives, but actually fight and deliver on those very things. And part of how we got to this point was through the endorsements of Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Senator Bernie Sanders, who've been leading this fight against oligarchy across the country. And I think that in focusing on working people and their struggles, we also return back to what makes so many of us proud to be Democrats in the first place.
All right, this guy is not a Democrat. He is a communist. His playbook comes directly out of the Soviet Union's, out of Russia's manifesto, the Constitution. Free healthcare, free education, free housing, free everything. Everything you could possibly think of, it's free. This cancer isn't contained to New York. They want to infect your city next. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis can barely contain his laughter because of how insanely funny it is to think that somebody could come in this country, not even from here, after the entire 20th century was like littered with human lives because of the failure of communism. Hundreds of millions of lives. He's watching New York commit economic suicide while his state gets richer by the day. That's my state, by the way. Love me some Daddy D. Love me some Daddy D. Listen to him explain the gift that Mamdani, Yabba Dabba Doo, just handed Florida. Thank you very much. Let's take a look.
People were fleeing Chicago, going places like Naples. And then they elected the guy they have now, who's even worse. And so you've seen even a bigger reaction. And I kind of feel like New York's doing that. De Blasio caused a lot of people to flee that city. And I saw it firsthand with the amount of wealth that moved into Florida and the businesses. And so now they're in a situation where this guy that they just nominated, he will be worse than de Blasio. He wants to eliminate the NYPD. I'll tell you what, when NYPD officers moved to Florida and they work for our law enforcement. We give them a $5,000 signing bonus. We believe in law enforcement in Florida. He wants to take over grocery stores and have government run the grocery stores. Can you imagine the disaster that will be? He wants to eliminate cash bail. So his ideas, first of all, a lot of them have been tried in places like San Francisco, and they have failed miserably. To the extent he's got these far left ideas that have not yet been implemented, I guarantee you it will be disastrous. And so, look, I'm not asking for anyone to come to Florida. We've got 23.5 million people, Laura.
Yeah,
New York only has 19.5 million now. So we have way more people than they do. And this is likely just going to dig that hole even deeper for them.
Love me some Daddy D, but I want to thank Curio23 for the super chat. He said, "What's it called when someone steals your coffee? A mugging." Let me show you something. Look at this. Look at this little bad boy on my face. I survived a mugging too, and it was a Polish citizen who saved my face. My face. It was like that. It was like that movie from that Face Off. My face was literally peeling off my face. A Polish citizen, American citizen from Poland, saved my face. All right, $5,000 signing bonuses for fleeing NYPD officers. That's how you build a state while others destroy theirs. Absolutely insane. The resistance is forming, but it might be too late. Eric Adams is trying to rally the sane Democrats who are left. Not many of them. I hope there are more. I hope there are more than we can see in the mainstream media, because what's happening is absolutely incredibly insane. Watch this desperate plea to stop this socialist takeover. Take a look.
Really overwhelmed about the love and support that's coming from this community. I need you now. 4 quick things. 1, I'm going to send in this message my donation page. Please go make a donation and send it out to your friends and families and groups. 2, I'm going to attach my volunteer link. Anyone who desires to volunteer, click on that link, and it allows you to sign up and be one of our volunteers. 3, I want you to post me on your page and send out messages to people that you know and that support of what we are doing. And 4, one of the most important things that we can do, I want you to ensure to come out to my announcement tomorrow, steps of City Hall, 12 p.m. Be there or be square.
4 quick things, he says. But here's one thing. New York is about to become Caracas with better pizza. The hypocrisy is absolutely staggering. Mamdani wants to abolish the NYPD while being protected by armed officers. Watch Curtis Sliwa expose this socialist double standard. But I repeat myself.
If we can pull up some of his proposals here. You got freeze the rent, city-run grocery stores, $70 billion worth of debt to fund affordable housing, free buses, no-cost childcare, baby baskets to newborns, $30 minimum wage, a few more not on this list here, defund NYPD, defund prisons, defund medical bills, and get rid of private insurance. Your thoughts?
But in typical political fashion, do as I say, not as I do. He claims he's under threat, right? Mm-hmm. So who's protecting him now? Off-duty NYPD armed officers. Who does he want protecting New Yorkers? Social workers. Yeah. Hey, Mamdani, do what you suggest everybody do. Why isn't he being protected by social workers? I'm a guy who was shot 5 times by the Gattis and Gambinos in 1992. I travel by myself. I'm in the streets. I'm in the subways. I'm the people's mayor. You have to have a feel. You know, I hate to break the baby boomers' bubble, because I'm a baby boomer. Mm-hmm. The millennials are the majority now. Do the analytics. You must get millennials on your side to win elections. I've been working with young people my whole life as leader of the Guardian Angels here and in 13 countries and 130 cities around the world. You need to be able to motivate people. Look, fault him as you will. You keep throwing stuff at him, you just strengthen him with millennials. We have to bring the millennials to us. Wasn't Trump able to do that with male millennials?
Yep. Free housing. free busing, free groceries. Next thing he's going to say is that we're going to put an end to jealousy or human frailty or the weather change. You know, this is the kind of narcissistic, psychopathic stuff. Like this is all right. Listen, there's a practice in Islam. It's called taqiyya. This is where you are literally allowed to lie and cheat and steal your way out of situations just like this. He's a practicing Muslim, right? Right? I mean, if he believes in Islam, then he believes in taqiyya. That he can lie and he can not tell the truth in order to attain power. And once he attains power, that's when the Trojan horse comes out. We're going to end jealousy. This is all this weird, strange, insane pie in the sky stuff. And what does he do? He wants people to pay for it? By the time this stuff gets funded, the people who are paying for it are going to be long gone. Social workers for thee, armed guards for me. Next thing he's going to come out against, possession of guns, right? He's going to come out for gun control. That's socialism in practice, okay? But I read it in Animal Farm when I was a kid, in like middle school. This is what happens. This is what socialism and communism is. It's okay for me to do it, not okay for you to do it. Some rules are okay for me, but they're not okay for you. That is socialism and communism in practice. But wait, there's more insanity. Here is Mamdani's full platform being discussed. And yes, it gets entirely worse. Check it out.
Think about this for a moment. He wants to raise 1%. He wants to raise tax on 1% of New Yorkers' high-income earners. As the mayor, you don't have the authority to do that. You know who has the authority to do that? An assemblyman, which he is. He wants to do free buses. He could have done it at assemblyman. I'm looking forward to being on the campaign trail and showing New Yorkers we can't go backwards.
He will run as an independent. One of the things that Mamdani did, though, and it wasn't just that he was able to bring millennials. There was, first of all, the way he communicated, which was very different than how Cuomo did. Cuomo was very establishment in terms of the old way of communicating. But also, Mamdani had a relentless focus on the issue of affordability. And that was speaking to those millennials. So what would your agenda be in terms of economic growth or fiscal sanity so that younger people feel like they can actually achieve the American dream?
Well, part of what has happened here in the city is the developers and the realtors have wanted to go into the outer boroughs, which is my strength, the blue-collar working class. Remember, that's what the Republicans have become, the party of the blue-collar working class. The Democrats have forsaken them. People who own homes. They've invested in the American dream. A lot of first-generation immigrants who came in the legal way, and they're waiting for their relatives and friends to follow, unlike the migrants who were given everything for free. Who gave them everything for free?
Look, where's a goat when you need one? Developers and realtors fleeing to the outer boroughs. Like, even the millionaires can't escape the madness fast enough. New York City is just signed its own death warrant. It's insane. Businesses will flee. Police will quit. Do you think you're going to have police representing this man? I just don't think it's going to happen. Like, doing his bidding. Taxpayers are going to run for the borders. And when I say borders, I mean from New York to Florida. And we welcome you. Okay? What's left will make Detroit look like a kingdom. Okay? If you got value from this report, please tap subscribe. My final thought is next. New York City just voted to become America's first communist experiment since, I'm not sure it's actually ever happened before. Because America doesn't do communism. We fought wars to stop it, built walls to contain it, and watched it fail everywhere in the world that it has been tried. But 33-year-old Mamdani thinks he's smarter than history. He's not. But you know what? Maybe he is. You know, maybe he's got like a little weird plan going on. I don't know the guy. I am anxious to see what happens next. I believe that the rich will flee, taking their tax dollars to Florida and Texas, places where we actually have bastions of freedom. The middle class will follow, running from $40 minimum wages that kill their jobs. Who's left? The poor, depending on government grocery stores with empty shelves? Ask Venezuela how that worked out. This isn't just New York's problem. AOC and Bernie are taking notes and planning to spread this position nationwide in 2028. We need to be keeping a very close eye on this. You know, they call it democratic socialism. That is a euphemism. You know, they say democratic socialism, communism, soft socialism, hard socialism. Like, my history book calls it suicide. Here's my question. Would you stay in New York City under socialist rule or flee to a free state? You built your home there. You built your business there. You built your family there. Would you stay under this man? Answer below. Check it out. Blast our chats. We want to hear everything you have to say. I want to make sure you show your support at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.